Let me tell you about him. King of kings, Lord of lords. There is no one like him. There is none at all. Alpha and Omega, resurrected Savior. Jesus is his name. Let me tell you about him.
What's up, God Go family? Hope y'all having an awesome day. Cowboy Joe here, bringing in that good word. Got some stuff for you today that I'm super excited about. Once again, we talked about seed the other day. We talked about the main point of Galatians 6:9, which I'll read it one more time for you. For those of you who might have not have saw the lesson, Galatians 6:9, so let us not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. So there's so much in that can be taken away in just one simple verse. As we've talked about the race this year, as we've talked about running the race that God has set before us, running with endurance, running with throwing off the things that hold us back, we've talked about the habits and like the process of what it takes to be able to run this race in the way God calls us. And in the context of that and that in your perspective of this is what we're doing in our lives, there's things we have to throw off that aren't good. They're holding us back from running the race. And there's things that we need to pick up and take up in our lives that helps us run the race better. And the big thing that we talked about on the last video about seed, like the seed you sow, is first simple, sow good seed. And I know this is seed math, so stick with me. Sow good seed, you get good harvest. Sow good seed, you get good fruit. Sow good seed's going to come out. I mean, I know that sounds really complicated, but honestly, myself, probably you, we make that really complicated even though it's so simple. You sow good seed in your life, good's going to come out. I mean, it's crazy how simple it is. But so often we have bad coming out and we're sitting there worrying about the bad that's coming out, and we get so caught up on that we're like, why can't I change this? Because we're not looking back to the beginning where it all begins, where it all starts in our lives, where good habits are created, where everything is produced from. It's in the seed. It's at the seed that everything starts and ends. And the main point from the last one, other than that, is the seed you sow today is a direct result of the harvest you'll have tomorrow. I mean, it's just something simple to think about. If you sow good seed today, tomorrow, there's going to be a harvest in your life. You're going to produce things tomorrow that are great. That's good fruit that allows you to be better tomorrow if you do good things today. So think about that. So let us not grow tired in doing good, because our future self's going to really thank us for that. But not only that, is when we do good today and we make little habits, like I mentioned my sleep. If I go to bed early tomorrow morning, I'm going to be able to wake up rested. I'm going to get up without my wife getting upset. And that's a big win for me to start the day off. So already I got a big win. I got some fruit coming up in my life to start the day off because of seed I sowed yesterday. You see how that correlates? And because of those little things, those little habits in our lives, that we don't have to go under the whole lie that says you can't change, this is who you are. Those little habits give us the chance to, like, in our physical bodies, be able to be used for God's kingdom in mightier and mightier ways. So we may not think those things matter that much, but they do, because keep doing good today, and as a result from that good you do, the good seed you sow, you will have a harvest that is so good tomorrow. And that may not be tomorrow, that may be some time down the road, that may be a tomorrow in the future, but it's going to come, and it's going to be huge, not only in your life, but even bigger that for God's kingdom and the impact you have on others around you. And another thing I wanted to hit on today with seed is I want to start talking about a passage of scripture that I've had the chance to teach on lately, which is Matthew 7:13 and 14. And it's Jesus talking about entering by the narrow gate. That is what you should do. But he also mentions this other gate that is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction. And those who enter by it are many. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. And that's a part of this doing good that has really had me thinking, because we don't realize just sitting here talking about doing good, that sounds really good. Sounds really easy. But as a farmer sows seed into the ground, as he hoes up the weeds around it, as he does all the things it takes to get that seed in the ground, it takes work, it takes sweat, and it takes pain. It's back-breaking work, and it's going to hurt. It's going to be hard. And that's something I saw in this verse, that when Jesus says, for the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. When he's talking about this narrow road that he is on, that followers of him are on, he's talking about this narrow road being hard, but it leads to life. And the difference between the narrow road and the wide road is the way is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction. And a lot more people go that way because it is easy. It is convenient. When you look at those two different routes, it's so much easier to say, I'm choosing this one because it fits my schedule better. It makes me feel really good right now. Temporary satisfaction from it. You see everyone else going that way, so it's popular. You're gonna swim that way too. Let me give you an example of some fish. This is kind of wild, but just hear me out for a minute. You got fish, when they swim downstream, they're swimming with the current. That's the easy way to go, right? When you swim with the current, that's the easy way to go. You're just flowing along with the current. And that's where majority of the fish swim. So they're just swimming down through the current. And it's easy because they're just flowing. Like, they're not even having to paddle or their little fins or whatever. They're not having to do anything. They're just like floating like a lazy river. Now, what's different is when you try to swim against the current. When there's those few fish who decide to swim against the current, it changes a lot. You're not just floating along like the fish going this way. And there's not as many fish who are going against the current because it's hard. Because it is hard to swim against the current because you're facing this resistance. It's pushing you back every time you paddle, every time you use your fins and try to swim. And it takes more energy. It takes more time. It takes more of yourself and giving up more of yourself. But it says this road may be hard, but it leads to life. And that's something I wanted to share with you today. As we look at sowing good seed and doing what is good, in the first part of the verse it says, so let us not get tired. Why would God put that in his word? Why would Paul write that? So let us not get tired, because he knows that sowing good seed, doing what is good, it's going to make us tired. It's going to wear us out, because it's harder to walk down the narrow road to life, because you are going against the resistance of what the whole world is doing. You're going against the popular opinion. You're going against what looks good and looks easy. You're going against what's convenient. You're going against everything. So he says, so let us not get tired. He is giving us an encouragement, because he knows when we sow good seed that we're going to get tired, because it's hard. It's hard to make the good decision. It's hard to sow the good seed. And so often that is why we don't. I would much rather stay up later at night reading or watching TV and that temporary satisfaction right there in the moment. But in the morning, not waking up and having to deal with the bad harvest, bad fruit, bad results of that because I planted some bad seed that night. That's just... I'm trying to remember where I was going with that. Like, in the moment, it's easy and it's convenient. In the moment, it's what I want to do. But what's easy and convenient doesn't mean it's always going to be best. And that's something I had the chance to teach to a youth group last week. And I got to tell them that the road you choose to go down today, if you choose to go down the wide road, if you choose to chase popular opinion, if you choose to make that the road you travel down, then the road you choose to go down today will determine your destination, the life you're living tomorrow and for eternity. So the seed you choose to sow today will determine the harvest you have tomorrow. Like, it's just that simple. But we make it so hard, and what makes it even harder is when we have all these things vying for our attention, when we have all these options at choosing to sow bad seed, because it's easy, it's convenient, and it's what everyone else is doing. So there's a truth here I want you guys to realize more than anything, that sowing good seed is going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard to go against that resistance and swim upstream. But says it, so let us not get tired in doing what is good, because at just the right time, you will reap a harvest of blessing in your life and so many others around you. So I want you guys to just come under the realization today that sowing good seed is hard. And I'm learning this myself, and it is so difficult to buy in. It's so difficult to just say good seed is worth sowing. It's not going to feel good. It ain't going to look good, but it's going to be worth it throughout the whole process of sowing it. Because the harvest that will come, not only in my life, but the lives around us, the harvest that will come for God's kingdom will be more worth it than anything we can ever do on this earth, more worth it than anything we can do in our lives. And I don't want to sit here and sow bad seed the rest of my life and get bad results. And others are out there needing to see good seed sown in those little moments of our lives, so they can see the good seed that Jesus uses us to sow good seed into their lives, to impact them for Jesus. Thank you so much, Lord, for today. Thank you for all you do in our lives. I pray you just show us today that sowing good seed is not easy, but it's worth it. I pray you would just move us, Lord, to choose the difficult path, the narrow road, and to follow you in those ways, Lord, so others are reached by you, so others have seeds planted in their life that only can be planted through you, and walk in this narrow path. Pray you just move us to choose the narrow path instead of the wide today, Lord. Thank you so much. Hope y'all have an awesome day. Hope you sow some good seed. Love you guys.
Let me tell you about him. King of kings, Lord of lords.